The Constitution of India. Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Students, I know all are doing good, safe in your house, and you also would have had a great Onam celebration with lot of Pookalam designs which I saw from your class teacher's mobile, which you have sent to your class teacher. That was really good, a great feeling of oneness. And so welcome back to today's class after your celebration. Today's class, you might be wondering where the teacher is, right? We are in our school chemistry lab. If you are in the class, I would have brought you here. Since you are not here, I made my class in the lab. Okay, so, and I told you we'll be learning about some of the chemical reactions, that is metal when it reacts with acids. Last class, we were learning the reaction of metals with water and also with oxygen. And we know metals react with water vigorously. Some of the metals do not react at all. Like sodium and potassium, they react violently with water, even with cold water. So that's why they are kept under kerosene. And metals also react with atmospheric oxygen to form its corresponding oxide. So today we are going to learn about metal, what happens when it reacts with an acid. So here I have my dilute hydrochloric acid, I have zinc metal, I have lead metal, and also I have copper with me. If you see in your textbook, they have given reaction of metals with acids, iron, magnesium, copper, lead and zinc. And if you see the pictures in the test tube, you can easily say that magnesium reacts violently, iron and zinc also reacts, lead of course reacts to a little extent, copper do not react at all. So that is what we are going to see now here in the lab. So I have here, I have put the fire on, I am going to take my test tube. In the test tube, first let me add zinc. So when I am going to add zinc, let us see what happens. Okay. If you have seen the zinc metal, children, I will just show you how the zinc metal looks like. Okay. See, this is how a zinc metal looks like. Can you see, children? These are all zinc metals. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, I will take a test tube and I will put one of the zinc metal pieces inside, and let us see what happens if I am going to add my dilute acid into it. Okay. So here I have put, now let me take this and I am going to add dilute HCl into it. So when I am adding dilute HCl, you can see reaction happening. I will bring it close to you so that you can see it, children. Can you see small bubbles coming out? If you watch closely, you can see bubbles coming out. These are bubbles of hydrogen gas, because zinc metal, when it's react with HCl, it gives hydrogen, zinc chloride and hydrogen gas gets bubbled out. Now you can see here very closely, I will keep it. Can you see, children, bubbles coming? Yes? So this is with zinc. Now what happens if I am going to add lead? So I'll take some lead pieces. Lead reacts very slowly with HCl. So here I put some of the lead pieces. Can you see the lead pieces, children? Small balls they are actually, right? Now I'll add again HCl. Very slowly the reaction occurs, not like zinc. So when you compare here zinc and lead, I'll keep both the test tubes closer. Can you see, children? Right? Now what happens when I'm going to add copper into it? There will be no change. Copper do not react at all. These are copper strips. These are copper strips. Okay. Now I'm going to add some copper strips into it, and then I'll put my HCl. Moment I add my HCl, nothing happens. The copper strips will be just staying as such. There is nothing happening in the reaction. But if you see later after the zinc metal would have completely become small. See the zinc, what is happening, children? Yes, can you see bubbles evolving out? Yes. Now what happens if I am going to heat it? If I am going to heat it, now you will see now you can see here how the hydrogen bubbles are popping out. Can you see, children? Zinc completely get dissolves in HCl. See here. Zinc completely get dissolves in HCl. So this is what is happening when metals they react with hydrochloric acids or any acids for that sake, right? So this is a reaction of metals with acids. So if you see in your textbook, it is written, arrange the metals in the decreasing order of their rate of chemical reaction. Now looking at the picture, you tell me which metal reacts very fast with HCl, whether it is iron, magnesium, copper, lead or zinc. Now you can see in the picture which is given in your textbook, magnesium, you can see lot of bubbles coming out. So the order of reactivity will be magnesium comes at the top with the highest rate, reactivity rate, then comes zinc, then comes iron, then lead, and the last will be copper. So this will be the reactivity of metals with respect to HCl. See, the series obtained by arranging some of the metals in the decreasing order of the reactivity is called as reactivity series. If you take the next page, page number 50, you can see a column given there. That column is very important because these are the decreasing order of the reactivity of metals, and you have to by heart this because this will be helping you to solve the displacement reactions which we will be learning now in the classroom. Okay. So I hope you understood the reactivity of metals with acids. Right. Any other doubt, children? So now we will get back into the class with the displacement reaction. Okay. Reactivity series and displacement reactions. Now before getting into this, there were some children who were asking me doubts regarding the last chapter. That is, there were two questions: analyze the situations and write the law that has been governed in that situation. The first question was a balloon being inflated. Most of you have written it is Boyle's law. But children, what is actually Boyle's law? Pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So when the pressure increases, the volume is decreasing actually. But what is happening when you inflate a balloon? When you blow up a balloon, actually pressure is getting increased, and what is happening? The volume is also increasing. So actually it is violating the Boyle's law. But it is actually Avogadro law, because Avogadro law states that volume is directly proportional to number of moles. That is, whenever I am blowing the balloon, the volume increases, also the number of molecules in the balloon increases. So the first one is Avogadro law. What is the second question? When an inflated balloon is immersed in water, its size decreases. This is nothing but with related to the aquarium. That is, when a balloon which is inflated, when you put it inside, the pressure becomes more. So when there is more pressure, actually the balloon size will decrease. So this is what is Boyle's law. At constant temperature, volume is inversely proportional to the pressure. So these were the two questions that were being made a mistake by the children. So I just want to clarify it. And now let us get back into displacement reaction. Before getting back into displacement reaction, you should be knowing about reactivity series, which is very important. That is, whenever I say reactivity series, I told you the series is nothing but in the decreasing order of their reactivity. What do you mean by decreasing order? That is, the metal which is placed on the top will be the most reactive and the metal which is placed at the bottom will be the least reactive. And there is hydrogen atom or element which is kept in the center just as a reference. So it will be easy for us to understand that the metals which are placed above hydrogen are more reactive and they can displace hydrogen, and the metals which are placed below hydrogen are less reactive, so they will not be able to displace hydrogen. So when two metals are given to you in your question, you should be seeing the reactivity series. If two metals are given, you should see which metal is on the top and which metal is at the bottom. So the metal on the top will be displacing the metal at the bottom. So now we will get back into displacement reaction. Hope you have your textbook in your hand. Take page number 50. Now the question is, prepare some copper sulfate solution in a beaker and you dip a zinc rod in it. Observe the changes after some time. Now if you see this reaction, children, I will be putting you on video on the experiment with copper sulfate and zinc rod. Actually, copper sulfate is blue in color. But what happens when you are immersing a zinc rod? If you see this reactivity series, what happens is zinc is placed above copper. So zinc being more reactive than copper, zinc will be displacing copper, or I can say zinc will start losing its electron and it will get into the copper sulfate solution. What do you mean by displacing? Displacing means I have a chalk here. Now I am going to remove this and place something else. That we call it as displacement. This is placing. I remove it, I change its place, so that is called as displacement. So what happened to the zinc rod? Zinc rod actually it starts losing electrons. What is the reason for this? The reason is zinc is more reactive than copper. Zinc is more reactive than copper. What is the reason for the change in intensity of the color of the copper sulfate solution? Now if I see the video which I will be inserting, copper sulfate is actually blue in color. But after zinc rod is kept inside, zinc metal being more reactive than copper will start displacing copper and the solution will turn green in color. This is just because change in intensity is just because zinc displaces copper. If you see the blue box which is given there, the blue color of copper sulfate solution is due to presence of copper 2+ ions. So whenever we write copper sulfate, it is nothing but copper 2+ ions and sulfate 2- ions. When the zinc rod is dipped in copper sulfate solution, the copper 2+ solution gets deposited at the zinc rod as copper atoms. So what they are saying here, you take a beaker, right, and I have my copper sulfate solution into this. Okay, and the moment I keep a zinc rod, this is my zinc rod, okay, so this copper sulfate is nothing but copper 2+. So these all gets deposited at the zinc rod, starts getting deposited at the zinc rod. So what is exactly happening here? Zinc plus copper sulfate. Zinc rod, when dipped in copper sulfate, it is giving me zinc sulfate plus copper. So here zinc is displacing copper. It is taking the position of copper and it is becoming zinc sulfate plus copper. So that is what is the reaction given to you in the blue box. Now tell me, which is the metal that gets displaced here? They are not asking which metal is displacing, but they are asking which metal gets displaced. So here whether zinc is getting displaced or copper getting displaced. Yes, you are right, it is copper. Copper is changing its position. Copper's position is taken by the zinc because zinc is more reactive than copper. So which is more reactive than copper? The metal which is displacing is more reactive. The metal which gets displaced, which is changing its position, is less reactive. So here whether zinc or copper, which is more reactive? Zinc is more reactive than copper. On the basis of the position of zinc and copper in the reactivity series, can you explain why copper has been displaced? If you see this reactivity series, children, if you can see this reactivity series, it is very clearly written zinc, iron, nickel, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver, gold. So zinc is somewhere on the top, copper is somewhere at the bottom. Since zinc is placed on the top of the reactivity series, zinc is more reactive than copper. That's why zinc displaces copper. So you can write in the answer there, zinc is placed on the top of the reactivity series where copper is placed below hydrogen. So zinc displaces copper. Isn't it due to the higher reactivity of zinc when compared to copper? Correct. Now take the next page, page number 51. Let us rewrite the above equation showing the nature of ions. What do you mean by nature of ions? We have learnt that any metal, when it loses electrons, it will gain a positive charge, right? And when ions with positive charge, when it accepts electrons, it becomes 0. So how do I write this? I will write as zinc 0 because zinc is a metal there with no charge. So zinc 0 plus copper sulfate will be written as Cu2 plus SO4 2 minus, which is giving me zinc sulfate, that is Zn2 plus SO4 2 minus plus. Now copper is getting displaced by zinc, so this will become Cu0. So zinc from 0 it has become Zn2 plus, copper 2 plus, from 2 plus it has become 0. So what is exactly happening here? Zinc is losing 2 electrons to become zinc 2 plus, copper 2 plus gain electron to become copper metal or copper 0. So after the reaction you see in your textbook, the change that has happened to zinc, what is happening to zinc here? Zinc is becoming Zn2 plus plus 2 electrons, right? Now why it is happening? Is this reaction oxidation or reduction? Why? Tell me, we have learned that oxidation is a process of losing electrons. So this is an oxidation or reduction reaction? Yes, this is an oxidation reaction. Zinc loses 2 electrons to become Zn2 plus. So why it is oxidation? Because zinc is losing electrons. So you can write there, it is an oxidation reaction and zinc loses electrons. Now the change that happened to copper 2 plus. Now we will see what is happening to copper 2 plus. Cu2 plus accepts 2 electrons to become copper 0. So what is happening here? Copper 2 plus accepts electrons to become Cu0. So what is happening? The reaction is not given. You can write this reaction in your textbook. Copper 2 plus accepts 2 electrons to become copper 0. What is the name of this reaction? Why? Now this is oxidation reaction. What is this reaction? This reaction is called as reduction. So this I told you it is oxidation and this is called as reduction. What do you mean by reduction? Reduction is the process of gaining electrons. So here copper 2 plus gain 2 electrons to become copper. So this is a reduction and this is oxidation. Now you look at your textbook, children, it is written zinc is oxidized and copper 2 plus is reduced. That is, oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. So such a reaction we call it as redox reaction, or you also call it as redox process, where reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. So I hope you understood this reaction, children. Zinc rod, when it's immersed in a copper sulfate solution, zinc is displacing copper. The reason is very simple, because in the reactivity series zinc is more reactive than copper. So what is happening? Zinc displaces copper. So zinc plus copper sulfate will become zinc sulfate plus copper. So when I am going to write it in the ionic form, I write zinc as 0 because it's a solid. Copper sulfate is in the solution form, so it is copper 2 plus sulfate 2 minus. After zinc is displacing, it becomes zinc sulfate, that is zinc 2 plus sulfate 2 minus plus copper 0. So if I am going to take only what is happening with respect to zinc metal, zinc loses 2 electrons to become Zn2 plus, which is an oxidation reaction where a metal loses electrons, and with respect to copper, copper 2 plus ions, it accepts 2 electrons and get reduced to copper 0. So this is a reduction reaction where copper 2 plus accepts 2 electrons. So these two combination reactions are called as redox reaction, where reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. So you call it as a redox process or redox reaction. Now there is one more question given to you in the textbook. A copper plate is immersed in silver nitrate solution, gets a layer of silver deposited on its surface. Examine the equation for the chemical reaction taking place. 2 silver nitrate plus copper gives copper nitrate plus 2 silver. 2 silver nitrate plus copper giving copper nitrate plus 2 silver. If you see this reaction, children, 2 silver nitrate, when I say 2 silver nitrate, when it is reacting with copper, so you are taking a silver nitrate solution and you are dipping a copper rod. What is happening? Copper is displacing silver, because in the reactivity series, if you see, copper is placed above silver. So what happens? Copper is more reactive than silver, so copper will displace silver. So you get copper nitrate plus silver. Now if I am going to write in its ionic form, how do I write? It is already half given in your textbook. Silver is having a +1 oxidation state. Copper here it is 0. Nitrate they have given it is -1. So if silver is +1 here, what should be the charge of this? It's given already -1, so I put -1. So silver +1 is getting reduced to here silver 0. Silver is undergoing reduction, because I told you when two metals are given to us, the more reactive metal will always undergo oxidation. Please remember, children, the more reactive metal will always undergo oxidation, the less reactive metal will always undergo reduction. So here silver is less reactive, so this will undergo reduction. So +1 becomes 0. Copper is more reactive, so it should undergo oxidation. Copper 0 will become +2. Copper is always having +2 oxidation state in this, because it is 2 here. So this 2 is nothing but +2 oxidation state of copper. So this, now you have already balanced it, written in the ionic form. Now what is the question given to us? Complete this chemical equation by assigning oxidation numbers. We have already assigned the oxidation numbers. Now which ion is responsible for the color change in silver nitrate? I take silver nitrate solution, but when I am dipping my copper rod, the color of the solution changes. So which metal is responsible for the change in color? It is due to copper. Okay, in color nitrate solution to blue after some time. So, when silver nitrate solution is there, when copper is placed, the solution will change to blue because of the copper metal. Now, which metal was oxidized in this case? Now, you tell me children, copper or silver, which will be getting oxidized? Yes, copper gets oxidized because copper is more reactive than silver. And which metal was reduced? It is silver. Silver gets reduced because silver is less reactive than copper. Now write the equation showing oxidation and reduction. How do I write the oxidation and reduction reaction? Now oxidation reaction will be, I told you copper is more reactive than silver. So copper is becoming Cu2 plus, Cu0 becomes Cu2 plus with the loss of 2 electrons. Am I right? In this copper 0 is becoming copper plus 2. So copper loses 2 electrons to become copper 2 plus. So what is reduction here? Reduction is with silver. What is happening? 2 Ag plus 1. Why I am writing 2 Ag plus 1? I will tell you. So 2 Ag plus 1 accepts 2 electrons to become 2 Ag0. This is what you should know. Now why I am writing here 2 Ag plus 1? Why 2 Ag is coming? Always the oxidation and reduction process, when they are taking place simultaneously, the number of electrons lost and gained should be balanced. You are able to follow children? If 2 electrons are lost in oxidation process, 2 electrons should be gained in the reduction process. If only 1 electron is lost, then it should be 1 electron gained. If 3 electrons are lost, it should be 3 electrons gained. But though we know silver is having plus 1 oxidation state, since there are 2 plus and 2 electrons, to make it 2 plus and 2 electrons, I multiply the whole equation by 2. Because Ag is only plus 1. Ag plus 1 need only 1 electron to become Ag. But since in oxidation process there are 2 electrons involved in the losing of electrons, I multiply the reduction reaction with 2. So 2 into plus 1 will become Ag plus 2, and here again 2 electrons, and it becomes 2 silver metal. Now you are able to follow children. So always you should make sure that when silver comes with zinc or copper or iron, make sure that you multiply silver with 2. So this is another example of copper and silver nitrate. Now at the last there is a blue box given. Children, from this chapter onwards you should write all the blue boxes in your file. The blue boxes are very important, which are the most repeated questions in your board. Now what is blue box given? Metals having high reactivity displace the metals having less reactivity from their salt solution. So when I take any salt solution, okay, my solution is A and my metal is B. Now when I take A and B, if B is more reactive than A, B will displace A. And you are able to understand children? I take a solution here A and I put a metal rod, that is B. If B is more reactive than A, then B will displace A. If B is less reactive than A, then the reaction will not happen. B cannot displace A. Such chemical reactions are called as displacement reaction. Metals having more reactivity will displace the metal which is less reactive from their salt solution. Such a reaction we call it as displacement reactions. That is the definition for displacement reaction. Now metals with higher reactivity get oxidized and with lesser reactivity get reduced. Such reactions are called as redox reaction. So what is displacement reaction? Metals of higher reactivity displace the metal with less reactivity from their salt solution. Those are called as displacement. And in displacement reaction, what is exactly happening? The higher reactivity metal will undergo oxidation and the lesser reactivity metal will undergo reduction. That's why displacement reactions are called redox reaction. A reaction where oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. Now there is a table given to you in page number 52. If you can see, there are 5 beakers given. Now have you all taken your textbook, children? Now in page number 52, if you see, there are 5 beakers given. What is the first beaker? In the first beaker, I have copper sulfate dipped with magnesium rod, right? Copper sulfate with magnesium rod. In the second one, again copper sulfate but with a silver rod is dipped. And in third one, it is zinc sulfate with magnesium rod. And in the fourth one, it is silver nitrate with again magnesium rod. And in the last one, it is magnesium sulfate with copper rod. So these are the 5 solutions given to us. Now you can turn back your reactivity series and tell me whether the reaction, displacement reaction will take place or not. So the first one they have given here metal, and then here solution, and then they have written here displacement reaction. Tell me whether it will happen or not. So here I put my metal as magnesium, in second it is silver, and third one is again magnesium, and the last one is copper, right? And here it is copper sulfate, this is also copper sulfate, the third one is now zinc sulfate, and next one it is silver nitrate, and the last one is again magnesium sulfate. Now tell me what will happen, whether the displacement reaction will happen or not. First one they have given already, magnesium dipped in copper sulfate. See your reactivity series, magnesium is more reactive than copper, so definitely the displacement reaction will take place. What is the second one? Silver dipped in copper sulfate. Is silver more reactive or less reactive than copper? Yes, silver is less reactive than copper, so the reaction will not take place. The third one, magnesium dipped in zinc sulfate. Magnesium is actually above zinc, so definitely the reaction will take place. Now, magnesium in silver nitrate. Again, magnesium is above silver, so the reaction will take place. Copper in magnesium sulfate. Copper is below hydrogen, magnesium is above hydrogen. So will the reaction occur? No, the reaction will not occur. So like this you will get your questions in your board. They may give you 1 or 2 diagrams with a salt solution and a rod dipped in it, and they will ask you whether the displacement reaction takes place or not. So you should remember your reactivity series, by heart it. If you know it is above the metal or below the metal, those 2 metals, their order, then you can write whether the displacement reaction can occur or not. I hope you are able to understand this, children, right?
Metals are electropositive in nature. They lose electrons to form positively charged ions or cations. The various metals are arranged in a series on the basis of their ease to form cations. This series is known as electrochemical series. You will now learn about the important characteristics of electrochemical series. The metal at a higher position in the electrochemical series displaces the metal at a lower position from its salt solution. For example, magnesium is higher than copper in the series. You will see what happens when we add magnesium to blue copper sulfate solution. The blue color fades away, leaving a colorless solution. The more reactive magnesium has displaced the less reactive copper to form magnesium sulfate. Brown bits of copper metal form a precipitate. Metals placed below hydrogen in the electrochemical series cannot displace hydrogen from acids. For example, when copper metal is added to dilute hydrochloric acid, no reaction will take place. Therefore, no hydrogen gas will be liberated. Metals placed above hydrogen in the electrochemical series can displace hydrogen from acids. For example, when magnesium metal is added to dilute hydrochloric acid, a reaction will take place and hydrogen gas will be liberated. On electrolysis of the metal salts, the cations of the metal placed lower in the electrochemical series discharge easily at the cathode. Similarly, a series for negatively charged ions or anions can be arranged on the basis of their tendency to discharge at anode. This series is called electrochemical series of anions. An anion placed lower in the series gets discharged easier at anode than an anion placed higher in the series. Thus, electrochemical series of metals and anions gives us an ordered arrangement for the different tendencies of cations and anions at their respective electrodes. When two or more cations or anions are present in the solution, they compete for discharge on the same electrode and one of them discharges preferentially. This is called selective discharge of ions.
So I hope children you saw the video and you are able to understand about reactivity series and how a metal loses its electron and becomes a cation. So with this we are stopping our displacement reaction. In the next class we will learn about galvanic cell and electrolytic cell. Until then, take care, stay home, stay safe. Bye children.